Hello everybody, welcome back to the second part of the exciting envelopes. This is part 2. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry I had to cut that film in two. It was well over an hour and it would have taken me a day probably to upload it. So thank you. This is the second part. Enjoy it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. All right, so in order for us to do that, what we need was 2 pieces. Now what I've done here, if you look closely, this is the flap on the top here is just ever so slightly short of the lining paper down below and the piece down below there. And the only way you're going to do that is if you actually see how I have put together the card, because this is cardstock that I've used at the back here. So what I've done is, let's just chat about that ever so quickly. Alright, so what I did here was I took my envelope that we've made and I have effectively measured a piece of cardstock that's going to fit exactly the size of this envelope here when it's completed. So that's that, and then I have doubled that. So that's what I've done. So I've effectively laid this down, drawn around it, and then made it ×2 into a card. So it's just a piece of cardstock like that. So use any cardstock that you have. We are going to put things on here. This will be stuck on here, so you're not going to see that. And we are going to put other pieces of paper. You could use craft board, you could use whatever you have, or old packaging if that's what you have. So I wouldn't worry about it having to be very thick, because we are putting lots of paper layers on, and probably better if it's something like a 200 gram really of piece of paper. So that's what I've done there. Now, in order to do that, the flap over here, as I said, you're wanting to have a piece of paper that's going to be as long as this, plus an extra piece. So if I take, for example, this here, you can see it is slightly narrower by about 1/2 centimeter or 1/4 inch, but it's also quite a lot longer. And the reason for that is because we will want to tuck a piece of that underneath before we lay a piece of paper on top there, and that's going to be how our flap works. All right, so the other thing is this will be the inside piece, and then what I did was one to match this slightly longer. We'll just cut that piece off in a minute. Is another piece which is the other part of this page. I think it goes something like that. Okay, so it comes from the same piece of paper. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick these two together, and I'm going to trim that off and then just stitch around the border quickly, and then that will be the first step for this. So let's put that aside quickly. Let's get some of our, I'm going to use glue stick here. Now when I open the flap up, I want, that's going to be on the top like that. When I open it up, the words here, I want the words to read the right way. So I want that to be like that. So that's important that you get the, how you want it done properly. So if I open that up and I flip it over, we now know where we are. So let's glue the piece at the bottom, because that other one is slightly longer. Okay, if you're not going to stitch this, make sure you glue really well, and then just match these two up. So we've got our corner there, we've got our corner there. This needs to move over slightly. Okay, get something that'll help you just make this smooth. You can use your ruler. Okay, so there, that's really great, and it looks like I did a perfect job of that. All right, now I just want to, as I said, it's slightly longer here. I've got a good 5 centimeters or 2 inches longer than the length of this. So that will be like that. And when I fold it over, you've just got a little bit there, but we've got a good 2 inches over as well. All right, so I'm going to just trim this little white piece off here quickly. These papers are so pretty. All right, so we don't need that. And then, as I said to you now, this is just giving it a little bit more stability, so that's great. I'm going to just stitch around these 3 sides here. It's not a necessity. So I'll see you back here in a sec. Okay, so there's that done. And that looks really, it just gives it a nice finish. So all I want to do now, just to complete the finish, because it's all in the details. Gives it a framework, doesn't it? A light bit of inking. Okay, and then you can do the same on the inside as well, if you like. Again, I've used a 160 gram paper here, which is what I either use that or a 120 usually anyway. All right, so here we go. So now what we want to do is, remember you've got 2 inches at the extra here. We want to just draw a bit of a line. That's going to be our fold line. So I just want to make sure that I just score that quickly. All right, and just fold that up like that. Okay, so there we have our flap ready to go. Okay, so just to make sure that is perfect for, we just want a little bit more over, like centralized like that. So that will be perfect. Okay, so now we are not going to put it on the back. You can if you want, but I'm going to put another piece of paper on here in a minute as well. But I just want to finish off this piece quickly. So what I decided when I opened that up there, I was just going to take a little greaseproof bag like this. I've just torn some strips of the papers here. This is just some an old letter that I've torn a strip out of, layered the 2 pieces together, wrapped them round like that, and put a little bit of Irish linen on the front here, like that Gina gave me. Thank you, Gina. So there I've made a little pocket out of a glassine bag. You can make this up as well. If I measure this, I'll tell you this is 2 3/4 by 4 3/4 really. So what is that? That is 12 by 7 centimeters, and that I'm going to stick on the top right there like that. Right, so let's do that quickly. Okay, and using this glue, it's fine, you don't see it, it dries clear. So just take a little bit and go close to the edge there, like that. Go straight across here. Make sure you're going close to the edge, not too close, you don't want it to ooze out. And then the back like that. Okay, and then just grip it in the inside pocket like that and put it where you want it. So I'm going to put it, I think, here like that. So we've got a perfect spot now just to stick a little tag in. There we go. Oh, that little flap's lifted a bit there, so we'll just put some glue there. Okay, so there we go. We've got a nice little pocket here as well. Just make sure all the bits are pressed down and stuck in place. And then what I've done is I've just cut a piece of board card. I've used some of the scraps, some of the fussy cut flowers. That's some, I think that was from my Dragonfly Calico Collage kit wording, and I've just put that all together there. And I'm going to just stick that in there like that. Okay, so there we go. There's the flap bit done. That's that component all ready to go. Okay, so let's now tackle this bit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the little flip out bit like that. So that will be the next bit. So that's part of the kit. Again, let's just pull all of that together. Okay, so this is part of the folio kit. You have a piece that goes at the back, a bit like a library card looking thing. You could make this up with your own paper as well if you wanted to, but I mean, aren't those lilacs beautiful? Then there is a front pocket like that. There's another pocket that folds and is going to go over that one like that, and that will go onto there. This will go behind and that will go on the front, so we'll just put that to the side for the minute. So what we need to do is, I have inked these already, is start with this one, and let's just fold along the lines here. So let's just open one and push that over as far as we can and as far down as we can, and then we can get in the last one like that, and then use your bone folder to make sure those lines are nice and crisp, or a knife if you don't have a bone folder, like that. Okay, so let's glue those down. Okay, so there we have the first one on. That's not lying so straight. Let's see why that is. That's better. Okay, right, and then we're going to put this one on the front. So there we have that all done together. Okie dokie. Right, now this was also on there, beautiful stamps. So I've just cut that out. I'm going to use this in the front. You could use this as a tuck spot as well if you wanted to, but I mean, there's going to be so many things going on here. I'm going to stick that on there, and again I'm going to find this letter business. Just wanted to get a piece of font. Like that. Like that, and then we'll stick that underneath there like that. Yeah, okie dokie. I think I don't need that, I need this. Right, so we'll just put some glue on the base here like that. And then we can stick it all down like that. And we'll have that like that. And then all I'm going to do is grab a little flower. Got these little flowers, silk flowers, but they've got this thing on the back, but I'm going to cut it off. So how did I do that? Basically, I don't want the middle bit, I just want the flower bit. So I'll just cut off that bit like that. And then you can put the whole flower on if you want. Let's do that then. We'll have to stick this bit on. So like that. We can just stick that on like that. Yeah, I had this bit with the middle bit, so I threw that away because it's too raised. And then all I did was I took one of my other little hobbycraft flowers, floral embellishments, which I've used quite a lot, and I just stuck one of those on instead because that's flatter. And these are quite handy. And that just fits there pretty perfectly. Okay, so there's that bit done. Now what we want to do is we want to cover the back. So while that is drying there, we will need to just, I've taken a piece of the scrap like that. I've put it on here and I'm going to, oh, that's not quite wide enough. Oh, it is. It is. It's just, I think that side's gone narrow. It's skew, so we'll do that further up this way. I think that'll be better, yeah. So what we want to do is we want to just move that to the edge and draw our dimensions around here. And there we're going to cut that out quickly, and that's going to be the backing to that. Okie dokie. Keep that. Get rid of that. Got to be firm with myself now. I'll be keeping every little last scrap. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to stick this onto this like that. So let's do that quickly, and I'm going to use this because I'm going to stitch around the whole thing. And again, you don't have to, but then again, use a better glue than glue stick. Okay, so let's just match up the top and there and there, and that looks pretty all right. Oh, a little bit from my flowers come off. We'll come back to that at the end. And let's just roll that over. Okay. All right, where's that little bit gone? Gosh. Faffing with this thing. This is when long nails are needed. Okay, so there we go. That can just rest there for a minute. Okay, so in the meantime, I will just give this a bit of a inking. Get rid of any white that's shining through, because I don't want to see any white. So we'll just do that. It's very forgiving, this, for that kind of purpose, so that's great. I think that's a bit too much sticking through. I'm just going to trim that off. Like that. Okay, and then on this side as well. Okie dokes, so there we have it. Okay, so that's nearly set. That's great. Now what I'm going to do is, and I'll meet you back here in a minute, is I'm just going to stitch right round here quickly. Alright, so that looks lovely and finished now, so I'm quite happy with that, and that is much firmer. There we have our little bit on the back. And what I should have done really, which I haven't done again, and I thought this at the time, was I should have stuck that on first. But anyway, what we do need to do is we want to stick that on first. So let's do that quickly. I'm obviously a slow, didn't remember all the details. Oh. I was going to put the masking tape on to make it a flip, but I have not done that, and because I wasn't sure it was going to stick after all the other bits that I wanted to do. So let's just gauge this quickly. If that's going to go there, then I wanted this to look like it was sticking out, so I'll put that over there. And then this one here, press it, use the little grips that I've got just to make sure that it's going to stay where I want it to stay. Don't need to do that, but I think I've used my pegs all over the place because I can't find any. Alright, so there's that drying so long. So what remains to be done here is we're going to put a piece of masking tape and we're going to put it onto our board. So let's just have a little recap here. We have completed this bit. We've decorated there. Oh, I need to put those bits on. We then will be able to construct everything for the remainder of this. So we wanted to put a little butterfly on there. So I just had a little bit of this and a little tiny butterfly. I've just reduced the size of it really. I do them in all sorts of sizes. It looks like I've got trillions of butterflies, but I don't. And I quite liked it looking like it was coming off that lilac plant. So just going to put some ample glue on there, stick that on there like that. Whoops, and then we're going to just look like it's coming off there, and there we go. And if I find my words, I'll put bloom on there. All right, so that's the next bit. That's all almost ready to go. While that's drying there, let's now take this bit here, and it's a case of I'm just going to quickly distress this right around. It only needs to be on the inside because you're not going to see anything on that side. The envelope will cover the whole amount, so the whole surface, I should say. Gosh, I do talk rubbish when I'm recording. Forgive me. The words don't always come because I'm trying to do so many things here at once. Right, there we go. That was just a quick better than. And then using that same beautiful pink sheet, so I've used one of these, and then I've cut bits to fit each one of those like that. So that's what we've done there, which I have done. So I've got one to go over here like that, and I've got one to go on the other side as well. And what I'm going to do before I go any further is just stitch around each one of those. So let me do that quickly and I will be right back. Right, so we've got two of those ready to go. And while I'm remembering it, okay. Right, so now those are going to go there like that. So we can start off by doing this, and the first thing that we want to do is that is going to be our front, so we want that to be like that. So let's just start with this bit here. Now I've got masking tape that I'm going to use. You can use washi tape if you like. I don't think I've got any washi tape. That is maybe let's try it. I've got some washi tape here, we can try that. So if I stick this, you want to stick it halfway and go all the way down, and you're going to have to just cut that a little bit short and tuck that inside there like that, right? And then that will fit flush like that, and then you can just stick that down like that. There we go. And then this can go be stuck down over that like that. So there we go, we've got our first flap already, and then we can stick that down like that. So let's stick that one down. Oh. Okay, so we'll stick that down. I don't like that. So that's coming off. This is better. It doesn't distract from the image. Okay, so I've stuck on the masking tape, and I'm going to tuck that under there like that. It's far less distracting to the rest of the design, otherwise I don't have one that's pale enough, or okay, that's better. There we go. I prefer that. Okay, and then that can go on the top there like that. See, you can sandwich that in between the two, but because I like to stitch around it, that might have presented a problem. Probably not, but yeah, hindsight's an exact science. So you could stick some other washi tape on top of there that's not so in your face. If I find one, I might. But yeah, so now I'm just going to run a bead of glue here. Right, and then we can finish off decorating the rest of this. So that's all right there, and what goes on here is this lovely fussy cut flower, which is going to go on over there. And the flowers are all collecting nicely. Very pretty, this, all these beautiful flowers. So we're just going to stick that like that. I suppose if you wanted to add more things like a pocket or something else, you could, but it does get extremely bulky, so that's the problem with that. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that all there. That's all looking fabulous. Nothing to do there. And that's all lying pretty snug how I want it. Okay, so let's go and finish off this side then. So the first thing we need to do here again is we need our flap, and the flap's going to go at the top here. You can stick this at the back if you like, probably easier. So let's try that, because we are going to stick this down, so that's okay. So let's just put some glue. Now don't go and put it right close to the top. I have learned my lesson. Leave a little millimeter or two away from the edge. So when you put that down and centralize it at the same time, just leave, I don't know if you can see that, but I've left just a little bit away so that it can fold down easily and not want to spring up all the time. Okay, so there, that's my tip there. I learned that by trying to put it too close to the fold line. So that's going to be our flap. Let's just make sure that's all straight. Yes. And then what we want to do is we want to then put our pocket like this on, and the same thing here. Just make sure that you've got a nice crisp clean fold line there. Okay, and that's going to go again not too close to the edge, so stick that down as well. So we're going to stick it on this side. Okay, so let's make sure again, not, yeah, again, leave a bit of a gap like that. Otherwise, again, it won't want to stay where you want it to be. All right, so there we go. We've got that bit in place. And now we want to stick the next bit. This is probably going to be a really long video, so I do apologize. I try to make little components and cut things where I can, and obviously I try and speed up whatever I can, not to be too laborious. Right, then we want to stick that then over. So okay, so all that needs to happen here now is we're going to take one of these, we're going to stick that down over there, but we're going to just stick it there, glue it on that section there so we can have it as a tuck spot. Oh, before I do that, I must put down the daisy. I love that daisy. I'm going to be using those a lot, I'm sure. So let's just glue the daisy. Oh my goodness, I went a bit wild there. What am I doing? Too much glue. This is going to be a mess. clean it up. Right, so let's just stick that down so it looks like it's all coming out of the pocket. I'm going to have to wipe this a bit. Okay, so there we go, that's better. Sorry about that. Glue all over the place. Okie dokie. So now what we want to do is we want to take this again. Gosh, this glue's like a volcano today. And I've put the acetone in. This is the part where I want to throw it away, but I won't. Okay, let's just wipe this off. Okay, so that's the bit I don't want to glue. This is the bit I do want to glue. Right, so we'll stick that in the center. And then I wanted to find a little flower somewhere. Okay, here's one here. And I'm going to use that as a little tuck spot goodie. Goes that way, I think. Just a little tuck spot over there. So the last one I stuck down, as you do. Okay, so we just put a little bit of glue on the one half, and I'm going to just stick that like that. Okay, so we've got our items stuck in there. That's all completed. Everything's completed on that section. If anything, I'll probably end up just giving that a bit of a, that's lovely. This is all beautifully sealed and that's drying. We're going to stick some things in here. This bit here is all perfectly done, so I'm happy with that. And I didn't put anything on the front. I thought that was beautiful as it was, so I'm quite happy with that. This is all up to speed. I need to put some goodies in here, so let's just find a couple of goodies to go in here, which are okie doke. So let's start with the front really. So if I go there and put some, I'm going to put that in the back. Oh, that over there. That over there. Dun, 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 dun. Decisions. There, so we've got a couple of bits in there. Then we open this up and I think I'm going to put the daisy, just a couple of items from the kit in there like that. So we'll put those in there. And this little one just sticking out there like that. And there wasn't anything that goes in there. Oops, get in there. Like that. Everything is in here. All that remains to be done now is for the little goodies to go in here. And here they are. So I've got two of these little cards. And a couple of goodies that I'm just going to put in this bit over here. like that. And then I'm going to just stick these two little ones into this little tuck spot over there. And there we go. All right, so we're going to fold that down. Oh no, we're going to fold that down, and that down. And all right, so there's everything on those fronts done. All that we need to do now is we need to put this on. It requires some ribbon, and then of course on the back as well we need to stick the ribbon on. So I've got some seam binding here, and I'm going to just give that a bit of an edge like that, and cut it in half. And then work out where the halfway mark is here quickly. Oh, can't pick up the ruler now. So this is 15.5, that is 7.5, 7 3/4. So we're looking at this spot here. So let's just stick that down, and I'm going to just put some of this down. So that's the first bit, and we just want to get that like that. Let that dry for a little bit, and while we're getting that to dry, let's just make sure that I've got it the right way. And we're going to, I think I've already done this, so that's fine. Now what we can do is we can take out our card, run the glue all over this and stick it on top of that ribbon. Go quite close to the edge, but not too close. Alright, so let's put lots of this on. Okay, now what we want to do is, the way I did this earlier was get this up right here. You don't want to go beyond the fold line at the center there. And because when you try and open the book it won't work, so make sure that you get this up like that when you stick on this bit here, like that. Okay, like that, and then put on a couple of these, or light flat if that's better, just to make sure that it's straight and it's going to stick. And if you want, don't be afraid to use something like these, you know. Okay, just for a little bit. So there's the one bit, and then what we need to do on the back bit is just to stick down the rest of this. So I said it was 7 3/4. 7 and I think it was here. Let's just make sure. 7 3/4. Yeah, it is. Okay, so this is where the other tie needs to go. And what I'm going to do here is not to use the glue, which is oozing everywhere. I've got a love-hate relationship with this glue, honestly, I do. Right, So what we're going to do here is I'm going to put a piece of, no, I'm going to use the glue. So we will just put some I'll stick that down like that and take this side and lie that like that. Okay, so we're pretty much done with everything here now, and I know this has been a really long video, so I do apologize for that. I might have to split it into two, we'll see, but let's see how that all pans out. Now all that needs to be done now is to take off these little grips like that, slide this back in its compartment, which is over here like that, and as soon as that's pretty dry already, we should be able to pull that all back together, and there our ties will tie together like that. Remember, as I said to you, this is going to go into a signature like that. So that's how I intended going down. I don't want to stick it down because it's still a bit tacky, but that is where it's going to go. All right, so that's how we're going to use it in our book. So just to quickly just put this on a little bit of a thing here. We've got our flap there with our little bag there. We've got our little envelope over here, which is looking really lovely with a circle. You've got your little seed cards tucked in there. You've got a little tuck spot over there and over there with more goodies in. You've got your little tuck spot there. You've got a nice part to write some notes. You've got your bits and pieces in there, and more of a sort of double tuck pocket flip out over here, which has worked out really nicely as well. So I'm quite happy with all of that. I think that's really cute. I love the colors here, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching this with me. I would love it to hear and see what you guys do as far as coming up with your own versions of this. I'm sure it'll be absolutely stunning. Now that's stuck down pretty well now, but I am going to leave it like that just to dry completely, because I don't want to put this down. This is dried, but I'm not taking any chances. So if I look at the other one that we did, again, same thing. Fold that in like that, and I'll tie the bow in a minute. All right, then you can see we've got another one of those as well. You can use a round, you can use a square, don't have to stitch, you can stitch, it's all up to you. So I hope that you've really enjoyed making those with me, and I hope to see you guys all again really soon. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.